And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, R. Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, that entrance, we came in hot. How you doing today?
Did. yeah, I'm actually facing the screen now. Man, I'm well today. It's been a busy week for both of us.
Yeah.
For various reasons. Super grateful to be here with you for another episode of Gimmick Infringement. I know we have a lot to discuss, so I cannot wait, my friend. How are you?
Doing well, like you said, busy week. Absolutely exhausting week, I'm sure, for both of us. But we have a lot to look forward to. So let's get into it. Tyler, hit me with your question one.
Yeah, let's do it, Brad. So I was compiling my list for you, and I think there's really only one proper place to start, and that is blood and guts. Shout out to William Regal. Brad, I'm gonna come to you direct here. What did you think of this match? As predicted, the Blackpool Combat Club won. I don't know if you and I predicted that on air, but yeah, I know we certainly felt that way off air. So no surprise there. But what did you think of the match? Any favorite spots, etc.? And how did this Blood and Guts compare to the original for you, Pinnacle versus Inner Circle?
Okay, so this was infinitely better, I thought, than the original. I loved it. I loved the hour-long format. Man, I hear so much complaining online about this stuff. It's truly upsetting. And maybe this is not maybe I have my blinders on because I probably do this with WWE a lot, where I'm just shitting on the product constantly, even though I'm going to their show tomorrow.
Well, we will discuss in more detail later.
It's for them, it's always booking. It's not talent. It's just like, why are we doing this? Why is this the match? This is a stupid matchup. It's that kind of thing, versus this, which made all the sense in the world. People complain about the production as though they're going to be able to not have advertisements as it's broadcast on national television. People don't like the picture-in-picture. I much prefer a picture-in-picture to just a commercial break. I've never liked coming back and they're all in different spots. I don't know what happened to get them there. Why is this person now fighting that person? What happened to I like the story they're trying to tell. So I want to be there for that. I thought it was great. The swing on top of the cage had me because I was like, this is such a dangerous spot. I don't think it can be understated how unbelievably dangerous that spot is.
And they were not in the middle of the cage.
No, they were not.
By any means.
No. Cesaro slips and lets Chris Jericho go. Jericho just dies in front of 13,000 people. He just dies.
I had the same feeling. So impressive.
There was blood, almost guts. There was Eddie Kingston's back being still kind of destroyed, which is a huge concern. I don't know which was it. Ortiz was injured, or was it Santana? Was it Santana?
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
who in PNP was hurt. I have to go back and look. Well, I have to find that picture of them all in the cage. It was Santana. Okay. So potentially 2 injuries in this match that weren't self-inflicted like blood, but man, the injury bug. I thought the match was great. I thought it made sense. I thought the right team won. It also set up future feuds within the Blackpool Combat Club circle with Eddie Kingston and Claudio. Hopefully they can pull old footage of those two. I don't know if they'll be able to clear rights for that, but to really establish their feud going way, way back. I loved it, man. It was sports entertained. I was sports entertained the entire time. It felt like Attitude Era. And it felt, it was just fun. It was just fun. I don't know how else to describe it. What did you think?
There might be some recency bias on my end, but I also enjoyed this a lot. Probably even surpassed the previous Blood and Guts for me. Yeah, Brad, this checked so many boxes. First, the match truly living up to its name. So much juice, so much blood. I have this image burned in my head now of, I think it was Angelo Parker,
Upside
who was
down.
hanging upside down and blood just oozing
man.
out of him. To no surprise, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, just fantastic.
I loved him.
I think someone threw him on thumbtacks. It may have been Moxley for that
Probably,
like
'cause he
X-Plex where he just like
He also hit him
blinks
with a fork.
And the fork, yes. Yeah,
And the skewers.
And
Like
yes,
the bunch of skewers.
that was probably the roughest moment for me in the match. I just that was a little much.
When he was smashing on the end of them and they were all breaking,
and you could hear the crowd reacting to it. Brutal. That is a moment where that and then the thumbtacks is where I would typically text you like great sell, all caps, and then you would respond with, I don't know if he's selling, bro. That looked like it just legitimately was very painful.
Sometimes you don't have to, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed I know it maybe wasn't as clean as we're used to, so to speak, but I really enjoyed the Sammy and Claudio face off. I think we need to have that as a one-on-one match at some point. Those two, although maybe we didn't see it fully in this match, I think those two would have great chemistry in a one-on-one, one ring. Give them 10 to 15 minutes and watch them go. So I thought Sammy stood out, totally played his role. I'm really happy he's back with Jericho. I don't know if this is going to last weeks and months down the line, but I kind of hope it does, man. I think if he wasn't with the JAS, he would just be a mid-card afterthought right now. I love Ty Conti being there. And like you said, Brad, the right team won. And I'm really happy that the match ended the way it did with Claudio and Eddie. Well, Claudio picking up the victory because he had Menard in the sharpshooter and then Menard tapped. But Eddie clearly having a submission on Jericho that Jericho was presumably going to tap to. So like you said, not only did the good guys win, crowd goes home happy in Detroit, but also we have this storyline moving forward of, oh man, these two guys on the same team who have this history that you alluded to. It would seem that we are either going to get them as a tag team and or have them in a rekindled feud. So it checks so many boxes for me, Brad. And it wasn't just a match. We have these storylines moving forward that I think will be great. Jericho's probably going to be upset at Daddy Magic. And we just have a lot to go on from here. Super sad about Santana, though. I don't know if we're going to get that Proud and Powerful tag team title run that we've been clamoring for.
I don't think it's going to happen anyway. I don't remember who had it out there, if it was Wrestling Observer, Fightful, or some other source that, or just people observing things on timelines. I can't remember if it was Santana or Ortiz has been really gearing for I'm pretty sure it was Santana actually. Santana, really wants to leave, do a singles run. Yeah. And I don't think he can do that in AEW. I think he'd have to leave to establish himself doing that. I don't know where he goes to do that. That might be a tough one. Maybe he goes back to Impact.
Yeah. He had that one-off with Gresham at Terminus.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Main event match, but that was just, a one-off pay-per-view.
And I really like him, but I love that tag team.
Yes, me too.
So that's upsetting. Sammy taking the bump through the tables was so much better than Jericho's bump last year.
How did I not mention that? Yes, it was.
The thing afterwards, seeing Jericho's boot full of thumbtacks and realizing that they kept slipping off the cage while they were climbing up it because their shoes had basically metal bottoms at that point. Because there were like 4 sacks of thumbtacks that were dumped out? 3?
There were several.
Or at least 3. Wheeler Yuta looked great in this match. Like
he did.
I know I texted you. I believe I texted you this, but yeah, I don't know if it was Cesaro having ring rust or Sammy having ring rust or what, but they did not gel at all in the beginning of that match. I was like, this is rough to watch. It looked like nobody knew what they were doing. It was ugly for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
Yeah. So aside from that, I think that everything else in that match was great. It really picked up after more people started getting in there, and then it was just nuts. One of my favorite moments of the match was absolutely early on with Jake Hager standing with Claudio in the ring. the stare down and then the crowd chanting "We the People" was
Yeah.
amazing, and I never
Never
thought I'd say that.
never had the urge to chant "We the People" in my life.
Yeah,
I can confirm to you. But man, I was right there with the crowd at that moment. And going into this match, I did not even consider the history they have together.
totally forgot until they stood up, and I was like,
Totally forgot
"Oh,
the
yeah,
I forget they were was it the not the Real Americans, but Dutch Mantel was their manager. And again, the We the People was their
yeah." But he
gimmick.
wasn't Dutch. He was I can't remember what his
Zeb
name was.
Coulter.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally forgot about their history there. Great moment.
yeah, yeah. I thought that was really great. Yeah, I have nothing else to add.
When Eddie, final 2 points, when Eddie enters the ring, and didn't he have a
Oh
Singapore
my
pin?
god, the
And he
Darth
just
Vader.
very, yeah, Darth Vader. I saw you that tweet. Very subtly just hits. Was it 2.0 that he
Yes.
hit respectively?
Well, I
And they
can't
just,
remember. I can't remember who it was. I know it was part of 2.0 because
yeah.
I thought Daddy
I think
Magic
it was,
got into it with him.
I'm pretty sure
Uh,
Parker was the first one he hit. And then,
maybe Sammy.
yeah. Anyway, we remember the moment though. Him just making a
Yeah,
beeline to Jericho was exactly what the story needed. And I was gonna say one more thing. Of course, Mox did his thing. His first entrance as the 2-time champ was great to see. It was man, it was a blast. I
yeah,
was worried that maybe an hour was going to be a little too much for this. Do we really need to see this match go an hour? Especially when, in my mind, the outcome was so clear. But
yeah,
I thought it delivered on all levels. I thought it was, like you said, Sammy and Cesaro or Claudio was probably the roughest part of the match. As much as I want to see those two go at it again, but after that, complete balls to the wall.
yeah,
Just man, it was it was an experience between Anarchy in the arena and then this blood
yeah,
and guts. I feel like these performers have literally left parts of themselves in the ring for our entertainment. So
yeah.
shout out to everyone involved here.
So well said. I like that they brought out Jr. For the
Mhm.
match. I like that they're doing this now, where Jr. getting announced and coming out so that you know this is special has been such a breath of fresh air. Having Taz on commentary on Dynamite and Rampage, amazing.
Totally.
God, I love it so much, and I really liked it. I also specifically liked they did what you just did. Jr. called him Cesaro, and then Taz was like, "Oh, it's Ruby Riot," and I thought that was hilarious. And Excalibur going, "That Taz, that's not Ruby Riot, that's Ruby Soho," and like just very, very obviously, I thought that was cool. I'm glad they set that up because I'm sick of seeing Ty Conti, who is awesome, just be a valet.
Yes.
Get her in the ring, man.
It's very possible I would have forgotten to say that. Thank you. This sets up Ruby Soho versus Ty Conti. Yeah, it was. Aren't the best matches when we have storylines coming out of it, Brad? Of course, a great match can just be a great match and then we all move on. That's needed. But in a match like this, the fact that we have so many potential storylines that we can sink our teeth into and so many matchups we can get from here. Of course, we don't want to see this go on for a full year, but
Right.
we're absolutely getting Soho versus Conti. I would put money on that. And clearly, Kingston versus Kingston and Claudio, or Kingston v Claudio, is right there. And I think Tony Khan is not an oblivious dude in that regard. I think he knows that there's big money in them either teaming and or feuding against each other. So this is great. This blood and guts really hit for me as an entire episode. Orange Cassidy with the
Oh
new
man.
Jane song. He looks amazing. We got Jade. It was a really fun episode of Dynamite.
Totally agree. I loved that the crowd had no idea Jane was coming. And then it started playing, and I was like, yes, they did it. They did the thing. But it was very quiet in that arena until it all lit up in white. And then everybody went
Yes.
crazy. That
One
was that was such a
and
great
the,
thing.
the last point I'll say before I ask what your question is for me, your first question, is that it really feels to me like over the past week, the IWC as a whole has been reminded just how big of a star Orange Cassidy is. I know for the first year or two of AEW, he was one of the most prominent faces, but it seems, Brad, for about the last year or so, I guess, year 3 of AEW, we've kind of forgotten about him. We haven't really had a lot of storylines,
Injuries.
that injuries, etc. Right?
Yeah.
He's just not been um, someone that we've discussed weekly. But he had the match of the night at Forbidden Door against Will Ospreay. He loses, but does not damage him in any significant
No.
way. He has this win against Ethan Page, and I'm not saying he's going to be the guy to take off the belt off Mox or Punk, but we've been reminded just how special he is, and I'm absolutely here for that.
Yeah, I totally agree. 4.75 stars is a little low, Dave.
Come on, Dave. That match ruled.
Little
You agree with me, right, Brad? Now that you had time to really marinate on Forbidden Door, that was the match of the night, was it not?
Oh yeah, I said going into our post show, I said that was absolutely the match of the night. That was such a great match.
Still feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler, my first question for you is related to Blood and Guts. So it was an hour long on television. During the match, we saw another injury, potentially two. One new injury, one nagging injury. You even saw Eddie Kingston mouth, he'll be fine, even though he couldn't stand up without help. Do you think that AEW needs to employ, I don't know if it's a or a few more, because I don't really know what their status is with this stuff, talent safety specialists like a physical therapist, a personal trainer, as a preventative measure, like professional sports athletes, sports teams, excuse me, they like what they do with strength and conditioning coaches on their staff? Or do you think these injuries might be because of a lack of reps, simply because they don't do house shows?
Wow. That's a phenomenal question. That's like top 10 all time, my dude. Is there an option C where I say I want to see a little bit of both?
Yeah,
For
sure.
house shows, I think the more reps. I mean, of course, then you have travel, etc. But
Sure.
more reps, in my fan brain, would seem to be helpful. But also, I would absolutely be here for staff or additional staff, like you said, on the talent safety specialist end of things, personal trainers, etc. That I think that would be great. We've really, I think our eyes have been opened as to how dangerous this lifestyle, this sport can be. I mean, the injuries, man, they're just not stopping, and it's very scary. So I'm here for all of those ideas you had, Brad, but especially any additional staff for talent safety, talent health, etc. I would, yes, I think Tony Khan could find the money to make that happen, because there's just been so many injuries. It's man, it's not a video game. It's not 2K. Like these are real people who suffer real consequences for our entertainment. So I would imagine we're on the same page about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm I don't know what they do with the house show thing. I don't know if they can, because they kind of do, but it's not for all talent. It's for specific talent, right? Like Dark and Dark Elevation exist to be house shows, to get reps, to have a space to train. But Jericho ain't going to those. Punk's not going. Danielson might go, but he's not going as Danielson. The luchador costume if he does it.
It looks like it is just me here. I don't know where Brad went. Am I to carry the show now? Is Brad coming back? I guess I'll talk for a little bit. So yeah, talent safety is paramount. We've discussed on the past few episodes of GI that this is an issue seen in AEW and WWE currently. Some of the biggest stars are out right now, and I'm absolutely here for any funding or extra staff, etc., that could help with this. I'm still wondering where Brad is. I guess we can move on. The next topic or question we were going to discuss, as I read Brad's message here, okay, is the Royal Rampage from this week's episode of AEW Rampage. I really love this concept. This was, in my estimation, so much better than the casino battle royales. This was different. I think they had the red ring and the blue ring. It was great. Great way to get talent seen. We had Swerve Strickland. We had Keith Lee. Hangman was in there. It was a great mix of talent and a great reason to have these dudes on TV. We even got the Butcher and the Blade, who I don't recall seeing in a while. And much like the Blood and Guts match, there are a lot of storylines that we left the Royal Rampage with. We had Brody King end up winning the match. He had one of the most ridiculously cool eliminations of an opponent. He put there's Brad. Brad, I've been talking as you've been gone. I've just been going on a total soliloquy briefly about Wi-Fi strength, but then totally about AEW. So welcome back, my dude.
I'm not even on Wi-Fi. This is the second time this has happened.
Brad, ETM, embrace the mess.
I'm
the motto.
So tired of this constantly petering out like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, like I was saying, yeah, I agree with you.
That was the alternative option for the name of the show, right? It was either gimmick infringement or yeah, I agree with you. We see things the same way often, which I don't think is bad. Occasionally we have different perspectives, but I like the interplay. Brad, we asked each other our first questions, and now very exciting times here at GI. We have the introduction of a new stranger segment. I think we should jump into it.
Let's do it. Tyler and you and I, I'm going to let you get in here, but Beyonce made the greatest music video of all time.
Great callback.
You and I recently started discussing this, actually, and we haven't even really discussed it. We just acknowledged that we watched this show at the same time. This is going to be totally organic, including my internet issues. We are Stranger Things obsessed around here. Tyler, why don't you go ahead and say your piece?
Yeah. So as some of you may know, Brad deserves full credit for putting me on to Stranger Things. This was very early on when I met you, Brad. I know I wrote that article, now posted to gimmickinfringementpod.com, about first meeting you and how our relationship has grown and evolved since then, particularly on the basis of our love for wrestling, but also now on our basis of our love for Stranger Things. I remember you having, I think it was a tea that said Sundays are for coffee and contemplation. Yes. So of course I had no idea what that meant. I thought it was just a quote that you scooped. But at some point, I think knowing of your love for this and seeing just the general conversation and acknowledging that it's in the zeitgeist, I need to give this a shot. I watched Stranger Things. I think I just binged season 1 and maybe season 2 well after they came out. And the show is glorious. Man, you were right this whole time. I love sci-fi. I love 80s and 90s in particular, but anything to do with nostalgia from the 80s or 90s, I'm a sucker for. Yeah. So yeah, man, my very long point here is that you were spot on. Much like Danhausen, you were spot on for your love with regard to your love for this. And I've been watching season 4. So I'm all caught up on season 4, volume 1. And now, as of our recording, we're recording this on Saturday, July 2nd, volume 2 of Stranger Things was released yesterday, Brad. So yes. I've avoided all spoilers. I know you have not seen volume 2 either yet.
No.
But I want to know, as a longtime Stranger Things fan, what have you thought about season 4? There seems to be a general acknowledgement that this season feels much more horror-based than the traditional sci-fi that we've been used to with the show.
Yeah, I think last season 3 had definitely probably the biggest elements of horror. I mean, you had people being liquefied and turned into a giant pussy mind flayer physically in Hawkins, tearing through a mall. I really liked that. This one we actually watched the end of volume 1 last night. We had to pause it. Yes, I absolutely called it early on in the episode that if you have not watched this season, please stop here, skip ahead. Don't stop, don't leave, stay. But skip ahead to the next segment. I'll make sure that there are chapters up so you can just skip ahead. Finding out that one was the caretaker and also Vecna, and also that's how the gate was opened by L. All of it, pick all of it. Like the only part that I didn't predict was that's why the gate opened, but I was like, well, that dude is clearly one. Like he's not that old. He's being weird about this stuff. And then the second that he was like, this little chip controls me and he tracks me with it, I was like, oh shit, he's one. He's about to kill everybody. And then Papa,
you knew. Oh man.
And Papa,
they had me. I did not see it coming.
I looked at Jess and it was like, he's gonna absolutely kill everybody. And then Papa's gonna go, what did you do after she opens the gate or after she kills him? That's what what are you gonna do?
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong. I need to ask an expert like you here. My understanding is that Elle and presumably most of the audience thought that she was the one who murdered all of these kids.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, because that was a shocker for me. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it was a hell of a twist.
It wasn't her. Yeah.
No, that part I didn't see coming the entire time. I figured it was 11, especially after all the bullying and stuff.
Right.
I just figured she lost it and killed everybody. But the once about halfway through, I think probably like episode 4, maybe 5, I was like, this dude's gonna kill people. This is a murderer right here. Don't know if I had him as Vecna, but I knew he was definitely a reason for it or a cause for it. And it makes sense the psychic attacks are happening because of Vecna. Tyler, I loved this season because it feels so different. Every aspect of it is dangerous. There's not a moment in the show where I wasn't like, oh, everybody could die right now. Not a second. Everything was dicey. Everything was a little bit scary, and we haven't finished yet. You and I haven't finished yet. I'm hoping that Jess and I get to finish tonight. I really want to see it. Really want to see it. What are your thoughts on this first volume?
Yeah, I just muted myself for a moment because I was trying to make sure. I was stressing out about memorizing character names. So, of course, we know the kids, I guess we could say, even though they've grown up so much. They've been fantastic, led by Elle. We love Dustin. My man Lucas, like everyone has just been wonderful. I gotta say, my MVP of the season so far, I love Hopper as well. But my MVP is the dude...
Murray,
with the glasses and who has the
he's absolutely
like jiu-jitsu skills. Yeah, and
he's a black belt in karate.
Thank you. His impersonation of Yuri,
spot on.
Yeah, spot on. He's really, and I didn't really like him at first. I was trying to figure out, wait, who is this guy? Should I like him? Should I not like him? Is he a babyface or heel? Bringing it back to wrestling terms, but he's been amazing. I'm not in love with the stoner pizza boy guy. He seems like a really bad stereotype for this era. He doesn't do anything for me, but I know some people view him as charming. Steve is a heartthrob. We all love Nancy. We want Nancy and Steve back together. There's just been so many concurring storylines that have kept me invested. Because, Brad, these episodes have been marathons. I don't recall previous seasons having 1 hour and 10, 1 hour and 20 minute episodes. Is that just me?
No, but they're also giving us more. I think they're going the Game of Thrones route here, where it's like, we're going to give you fewer episodes. They'll be better quality. They will be longer. It'll be like watching feature films.
Definitely.
And they've all had those moments. There's a reason they spent, was it like 30 million an episode or something crazy?
Yeah.
I can't remember, but
I have this interview up with the Duffer Brothers where they mention Matt Duffer said, we call this our Game of Thrones season, as you said, because of the different locations and just the insane budget that they had to put this all together. You're right. It feels much more like a feature film.
Yeah. Millie Bobby Brown is somebody that I'll just follow her work because she's so freaking good. Yeah, like you said, I've loved all of the character work. The Hopper arc has been a lot of fun. Still don't really understand how we got there. It was very unclear how they just sort of snuck him out. But
yeah, it was so quick as well, right?
It seemed really fast.
It seemed almost too easy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking. But I like that the U.S. government is trying to get a hold of them. Of 11, I think that's coming to a head here in the next episode or two, and 11's probably going to take out the U.S. government. I don't know what happens. but it's exciting.
Happy July 4th, right?
I don't know. Yes, I don't know. This is probably the longest segment we're going to have today. I don't know if anybody dies this season that hasn't already died, but I know that next season is the final season. They said that there is going to be a body count, and we're probably going to have to wait 2 years before we get it, which is disappointing. But I'd rather have it be really good and give us closure than have it be rushed just to get it out there. So I'm stoked for it. I love this show. I love everything about this show. Absolutely a geek for this show. Glad you found your love for it, man. Like I'm really looking forward to finishing out this season.
Same. Well, my final question for you is going to be exactly what you just alluded to. I was going to ask for your predictions on does anyone die? I know last season it ended with the question of, is Hopper dead? And there seemed to be a lot of chatter online about it seemed like half of us were in the camp of, if he dies, like, we'll miss him. Obviously, he seems like a great dude, but this would be okay. Then there was another half of the online fan base, Brad, that said, no, like, up in arms. We don't want Hopper to die. We need him back. So for the volume 2 of season 4, any predictions? Do you think we lose anyone before season 5?
I don't know. 11.
Max? What do you think?
I don't think Max.
Really?
I think it might be 11 if anybody, and I think 11 will just be stuck in the upside down or something.
What about Steve?
No way.
No way.
Jess flatly said, if they kill Steve, I'm done.
Oh, she's not alone.
She's like,
I kind of think they.
She said, these are my 3. She said, Steve,
Okay.
Dustin, 11. Any of those 3, I'm done with the show. And I was like, it's hard to disagree.
Yeah, Jess is right.
I do feel like it's weird that they wrote Mike basically out of the show. They had Mike there for like an episode and a half, and then he's in custody or something when everybody bails. Yeah. So it's weird that he's there, and maybe they'll rectify that in the last 2 episodes. Maybe he'll be there and he'll be the one to say, hey, they went to Hawkins.
Yeah. And I think a glaring omission has been the lack of development for Will. It seems like they're sort of alluding to he's questioning his sexuality, and hopefully I'm naming the right character here.
No, you're
absolutely
the right character.
Maybe that's a season 5, or maybe that's even season 4, volume 2. But it seems like that's been hinted at.
Oh my god, we hit us in the face 100 times.
We have it, yeah, exactly.
Just like he could be screaming, "I'm gay" right now, and it'd be like probably more subtle than what they've been doing.
It's so true to life. Love seeing
it.
I hope, I fully believe, but I really do hope that we get a payoff for that. Me
too.
Even before season 5. But maybe these last 2 episodes, I think one's clocking in at 90 minutes, the other is over 2 hours. Yeah. Maybe this will just be all full motion picture. Let's defeat Vecna, and maybe we save those other storylines for season 5. Either way, I'm going to tune in.
Yeah, likewise. And I got to say, I'm really liking all the callbacks to season 1. I love what they did with the freezing of time, all of those things. But I also really like Eddie, even though he's a totally irredeemable character. Like, he's a drug dealer. He's just a terrible guy in general. He's like specifically not graduating so he could sell drugs to kids. And that guy seems like an absolute piece of shit, but I love him.
He might be a candidate for dying, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
He seems completely expendable. I mean, no disrespect to him. I love him as much as you do. I think he's been a great addition, but he might be at the top of my list of most likely to not make it to 5.
Well, I also feel like one of the 2 characters that are working in the lab are going to die. I can't remember the character's name. All I can see is "Mad About You," and Melina's character, Papa. I think one of those 2 are probably going to die, if not both. But I don't know. I don't know. Eddie feels like the one that would be on the block for me, only because they did that with what's his face last year, the Russian guy they had captured.
Yeah.
Where you're like, he becomes super endearing and you end up liking him.
Yeah, he had the GIF, right, where he's he's sipping the slushy.
Yes.
Yeah. And then of course Max's brother dies last season.
Oh, Billy,
who actually seemed pretty redeemable, even though he was a total tool for for most of the season. Yeah, man, I'm
great cameo for him this season, by the way.
Great cameo. Yes, I'm stoked, Brad. Thank you for putting me onto this, and I can't wait to chop it up with you on the next episode about how this season concluded.
I don't think I had music going for 13 minutes, but here we are. Hopefully, I can flesh that out a little bit before we get into post.
I know you
Tyler,
will.
hit me with question 2.
Yeah, Brad. So I was actually spotlighting some of this when you went out. I'm so glad you're back. The Royal Rampage.
Yes.
So fun. I thought this was a vast improvement to the typical casino battle royales. And my question too relates to the outcome of this match and where we go from here. Brody King had such a gangsta elimination of Darby Allin, just put him to sleep and dropped him like a rag doll.
Yes.
I think this was a surprise victory.
Mm-hmm.
This makes so much sense. Great look for Brody. Biggest win for him since he's been in the company by far, in my opinion. Here's my question, though. I don't want to overlook him, but he's getting the match against Mox this week for the interim world title. And I think it's on Dynamite. And presumably, Mox is going to win in what should be an awesome, snug match. But my question, too, for you relates to his partner, I guess, the leader of House of Black. So let's say Mox wins this match. For Malachi, which program do you want to see more? Malachi Black versus Miro or Malachi Black versus John Moxley for the title?
It's a good question. Mox. So here's what I really want to see is Malachi Black and Danielson, or Malachi Black and Yuta. Like, I'm sure Malachi Black has wrestled Cesaro when he was Aleister Black. I'm sure that's happened. I have no evidence to support that claim, but I'm sure it happened at some point. We kind of saw the Miro matchup a little bit. Didn't we see part of it? We saw it at Forbidden Door. So
yeah, they had a face off. Yeah.
I would love to see a full match between them, but if it's just between Mox and Miro, I'll take the Miro match. But I want the Mox program to happen because now we have House of Black and Blackpool Combat Club, which is absolutely why Brody King won this match. I
predicted that. If you remember,
yes,
Tony Khan listens to Gimmick Infringement.
Yes.
He was one of our views last week. Good to know.
Yeah,
good to know.
Yeah, he effectively doubled our viewership.
But you think this could happen? This could be Mox's first, not real challenger. Again, no disrespect to Brody King, but this could be maybe Mox's first pay-per-view title defense. We don't know when CM Punk is coming back. Maybe Punk is ready for All Out. I don't know.
I feel like maybe Punk is I don't know, it's foot surgery and he's in his 40s. So who knows how long it's going to take. Hopefully he's ready by then. Hopefully, like, if he's not ready by then, he's ready after it, so that when whoever wins the interim or retains, if it's Mox, at the end of the match, the CM Punk music plays and he comes out to have a face-off with whoever won. That would make me really happy. Well, I guess we'll find out. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just excited for Blackpool Combat against House of Black. I don't think anybody in there is beating Mox, but I'm excited for the matchups.
Me too.
Hopefully Buddy is healthy enough, because I would really like to see Buddy and Mox.
Yes, I'm even thinking of Buddy and Miro. Just Buddy versus the world. Buddy versus anyone.
Buddy versus Claudio.
Please,
right?
Need it this year.
Yeah.
Not waiting until 23 for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Brad, it looks like we have come to the part of the episode where we spotlight the incredible work of our colleagues, our partners at the Mighty 19 Media Group. It is time for State of 19 Media.
And now it's time for the State of the Biz.
As of this recording, it's the 4th of July weekend. Jess and Carmen of Small Town USA released a new July 4th themed episode. Tap in as they celebrate Independence Day on the road with suckers and sparklers.
That was a great story from Jess. I was concerned, Brad. You know, I texted you about that.
Yes.
I am not a parent, but maybe some questions. I'm just going to stop there. The story popped me. I was very concerned, and
yes,
you and I texted about it. Shout out to Jess. Shout out to Carmen. Shout out to Warren as well. Dope Interviews, a podcast from 19 Media co-founder Warren Shaw, is back. Check out the latest episode to hear his interview with Mark Swanhart. Great work name. Producer of the Masked Singer Tour. That's a great...
It is an excellent work name, dude.
That's probably a heel name, right? Like Julia Blackheart,
100%.
Mark Swanhart. Okay.
Mark Swanhart, and you know he's an over-the-top, coming out in like all white, but he's absolutely a bad guy.
Absolutely.
Check out our dude Jabari Davis, the NBA Finals File podcast, his project with multi-time NBA champion Robert Horry. This makes me happy. They break down the 1990 NBA Finals matchup between the Detroit Pistons and Portland Trailblazers on their latest episode. It was part 1, I believe.
Yeah. Jabari's been doing such a great job with that. We're so proud of him. Speaking of hoops, though, tune into the Baseline NBA podcast to hear co-hosts Cal Lee and Fort Lauderdale Luxury, Warren Shaw, once again, as they discuss the latest post-draft news and free agency rumors around the league.
Speaking of hoops and free agency, James and JP dropped a new edition of Dunk Tales. They share their reactions to the Brooklyn catastrophe, Rudy Gobert trade, and much, much more.
So much going on in the world of basketball. Ricky, Omar, and Kwame also have you covered with the latest in hoops talk with their podcast, Late Night Lake Show. The guys welcome guest Raj Shipalu of Silver Screen and Roll on their new episode. Tap in and get your Lakers fix, if such a thing were to exist. They do great work there.
It's a big summer for the Orlando Magic and its fan base. On the latest episode of Close Up Magic, superfans Steven and Malik welcome contributor Jonathan Alicea. No idea if I hit that right.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's absolutely correct.
Thank you. And Kobe Price, Magic beat writer for the Orlando Sentinel on their latest episode.
And finally, shout out to the incomparable, the one and only Mike Steff, former GI guest and fellow podcaster. You know we love his show, The Salty Thoughts of Donnie Ooh. Check him out for detailed, passionate commentary on the latest news in sports, professional wrestling, and New York politics. Brad, what I love about Mike's show is that I really feel as though I'm riding shotgun with him around Brooklyn, and it's just like a week of what it's like to live Mike Steff's life. So all those people are great. We encourage you to follow them, follow their work, support their work, and it's great to be on the same team with them and create this art alongside them.
Let's fly through. We're not making an hour. Royal Rampage was the week with Brody King getting an incredible win by murdering Darby. There's criticism from some that AEW does too many battle royales and too many tournaments. Number one, do you think that's true? And number two, do you think these different formats like Royal Rampage, which I loved, by the way, help or hinder that perspective?
Yeah, I think that's a valid perspective to have, although I would say I disagree with it. There are battle royales frequently. That's a fact. What I enjoy about it, though, what I appreciate about the booking of these battle royals is that there are always stakes involved. When I talk about my Friday Night SmackDown experience later, I am going to share how battle royales can be used in an ineffective way when there are not stakes attached. So are they frequent? Do they happen very often in AEW? Yes. But to me, Brad, it seems like often, if not every single time, there are established stakes. Why does someone want to win this match? Answer, it typically leads directly to a title shot. So that is meaningful to me. I don't think it's overdone because there are always stakes attached, and thus I can invest in a match and not feel bad about waiting 20 minutes to see who wins because I know they're winning for a reason. Unlike what I saw last night, which which is forthcoming. How would you respond to this one, though? We definitely see battle royales often in AEW.
We do, but if you're going to have an entire company based around a ratings and rankings system, then they got to compete for stuff. So a tournament is a way for people at the bottom of the card to move up instantly, so that you don't have this FTR situation where FTR have been number one contenders for over a year and haven't had any title matches. So um, I just think it makes all the sense in the world to do the tournaments, to do the battle royales. Plus, it's different. Plus, it's fun. People were like, I don't want to see another battle royale. When have you seen two rings with different colors designated, where every minute we get a new person, and then the winner in each ring, they face each other, and then whoever, that was awesome. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. And can I just add here, because I'm not going to include this for my last question to you. Speaking of utilizing two rings, that Meltzer driver that the
Oh,
Young Bucks
beautiful.
hit. I know we and probably everyone listening or watching this podcast appreciate how great the Bucks are, but Brad, they make it look so effortless. I don't know if there was a pop in Marana at Rayer Farms, but I can tell you in
Yes.
Glendale, huge pop for that. That was phenomenal. Jumping from one ring to the other and then spiking a dude on his dome. Yes, that was phenomenal.
The bounce and then the leap off of that,
Yes.
that was insane. And there
Yeah.
was the rope launch just before that too. And I
Yes.
just, good Lord.
But going back to what you said, using the two rings for the Royal Rampage, it was phenomenal. It was an absolute blast. It was something different.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that they were like, well, what can we do that's different using this setup since it's there, rather than just wasting it with people who are wrestling in one. I don't know. If you're going to have the two rings next to each other, come up with some clever way to use them both. I did find it. Was it WWE had something similar this week, but they called it it was going to be like King of the Hill or King of the Mountains or something like that, and they had
I
to
don't
change
recall
it.
that.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I saw something that had to be renamed because
Oh, okay.
it was very much like an Impact. Already had the name
Oh,
of the
yeah.
tournament.
King of the Mountain is Impact
Yeah,
for sure.
and then they called it something else. It wasn't Royal Rumble; it was something else.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's go on to your question 3.
Yeah, let's do it. So I have to ask you this one. The Dark Order is
Mm,
pretty near and dear to our hearts. I think if you would have asked us in October, November of last year, Dark Order and Hangman may have been our favorite storyline in the whole company. And I don't think that's hyperbole or an exaggeration. But Brad, we know now that not only is Stu Grayson gone from AEW, but Alan Angels is as well, formerly number 5. So, and the splits seem relatively amicable with both wrestlers and AEW. Their contracts are set to expire, and AEW, I know in Alan Angels' case, AEW offered him a per appearance deal, and he declined. He's going to work on the indies and build up his name, and
mm,
we'll see where he goes from there. And I know you're a fan of his.
huge.
So here's my question, though. Not just where are you at with Dark Order, but how would you resurrect Dark Order at this point? I believe that Anna Jay is in a pretty good spot and will have opportunities moving forward. I believe John Silver is pretty undeniable as well. But then we have 10, we have Alex Reynolds, even Evil Uno seems like he's just kind of there right now. Where are you at with Dark Order? This faction that we really enjoyed that seems to be crumbling a bit. And how would you fix them? How can we resurrect this group?
I don't
Is
think
Bray Wyatt the answer? Are we predicting Bray Wyatt in AEW
no.
on Wednesday?
I think they need to let it die. I don't. What are they going to do? They're releasing everybody or allowing contracts to expire, and they should. I mean, who do you replace out of the names that came in the last, let's say, 8 months since Punk came in, or since right before that? Basically, when Rampage was launched, who since Rampage was launched would you get rid of for Alex Reynolds, for 10, for 5, for Evil Uno, for the entirety of the Dark Order? Here's the other thing. What's the Dark Order? What makes the Dark Order dark? They just wear purple and put their hands up, and I love them. I did. Now I'm just kind of over it. Like they're not doing anything. Let them all have singles runs. Let them all be their individual characters. Evil Uno rules. Let him be Evil Uno.
Yeah.
Alex Reynolds is great in the tag team.
Yeah. I think 10 has a ton of potential.
I think 10 has a ton of potential if he gets rid of the mask and becomes something else. Like that weird like hockey mask looking thing that he's
Jason
wearing.
vibes.
Yes, it's just get rid of that.
And he's a great looking dude.
Yes,
like
exactly what I mean.
He's not wearing it to cover up anything.
You should not cover up his face. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
I think he could do some repackaging, but he reminds me a lot of a less crazy athletic Luchasaurus right now.
We didn't even talk about Luchasaurus. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. There's so much going on.
I'll just say this: great heel turn. Yeah.
I don't know what 10 is. Preston Vance is awesome, but what's his character? He doesn't speak. Nobody's doing promos on his behalf. He's not being sent out by somebody like Brody to say, go attack these people. Evil Uno always has matches, but he's been jobbing out the people on the main shows for 2 years. And I love watching him do a cannonball. I'd love to see Evil Uno against Brody King. I think that Senton Cannonball, who has the best one, would be a fun little story they could do. And then you have Dark Order House of Black. But
that'd be an awesome Rampage match.
But they've also already done that. I think they've already done Dark Order House of Black. So, and it wasn't great. John Silver can be on his own. He doesn't make any sense in the Dark Order since he became Johnny Hungy, right? Like there's the meat man belongs on his own.
Yeah. I think he's a future TNT champ.
Yes. So what do I see? I love all of those talents. Not all of them have characters. And if they do, they're not established. All of them are really good wrestlers. And that's what my criticism of Dark Order has been is they're all sort of the same. Their work is totally different, but their characters, Evil Uno has a character. Does 10? Does Alex Reynolds? Alex Reynolds what is his character? John Silver's tag team partner?
Yeah, he's a recruitment specialist.
The guy they dragged his lifeless, unconscious body around the ring famously when he got knocked the hell out in a match. Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on anybody here. Mm-hmm. It's not really their fault. It's more AEW's. Maybe it's Tony Khan's. Maybe this is a failing of not having a creative system. But
and to your point, to add to that, those free agent signings, I think that's just a difficult part, and exciting for us, but difficult part if you're a talent of this growing roster is, of course, you would think it creates more competition, but also when you're bringing in these really prominent names, the CM Punks, the Bryan Danielson, Swerve Strickland, Keith Lee, Claudio, etc. Those are spots that are now going to be filled because those guys are just of a higher profile.
Yeah, and I don't think you can I don't think you can sacrifice anybody from there.
Like, yeah. And you have people already on the roster who I think have ascended, like the Ricky Starks, the Powerhouse Hobbses. These people
because they'll have characters.
Yeah,
even MJF once he comes back, hopefully.
Right. Back. Right. I think some of these names weren't maybe major players a year ago, even September, October, when Dark Order was a prominent part of the show, that now have just ascended, whereas Dark Order has done the opposite, unfortunately. And I think finally, I don't mean to take your airtime, I really think that payoff was where the money was at in terms of Hangman winning, Dark Order coming out and celebrating with him at the end of Full Gear 2021.
Yeah.
And then after that, it seemed like for one reason or another, there was nothing more. We got the payoff. This was the money moment, frame the poster. And now what have they done since then, Brad, since that Full Gear appearance?
They've stayed baby faces, and they shouldn't have. If they simply would have turned everybody heel and made them a terrible heel mercenary faction that goes out and just hurts people, I think it would have worked. Be what they were under Brody's tutelage. And I understand that they organically became baby faces because of Brody,
right.
But
right.
That's not a babyface faction. You can't be called the Dark Order and be good guys. Like you're
We don't
not.
talk about that enough.
You're the
Yeah.
light order at that point, and that's lame. I want to
And,
see them get their asses kicked.
and I would argue Anna Jay's probably had the biggest profile out of anyone in the group. She's had some matches with
Yeah.
Jade, and we've seen her relatively consistently, and she's awesome. But yeah, man, I think we're at a real crossroads with this group, and I
And she was
hope
the
there's
last one in. She was the last one in Dark Order
yes.
besides -1.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then there's -1 who we don't see as often. But he's a child. He should be enjoying
But
his
that's
run.
also, I think that's a good thing right now because
Yeah,
if they're going to do
no
anything
doubt.
with Dark Order, maybe keep them away.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. I agree.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's a great question. My final question. So AEW has yet to be to Canada, and more importantly, Arizona. Beach Break was, correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe it was in Ohio this year.
It was in
It
Cleveland.
was in Cleveland, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, gross state. Where do you want to see AEW do an exotic location event? So like a gimmick venue, if you will. It could be the Jera Cruise. It could be like out on the beach, Panama City.
Yeah. Panama City sounds good, but then I remember Ron DeSantis is their governor. So I don't want anything nice for them, Brad. I'm sure there are lovely people there.
With you.
But Florida, Ron DeSantis, no thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Jera Cruise Part 2. I know it's kind of an easy way out for me, but I know Chris Jericho, as we've spoken about, is one of those polarizing figures because we love Chris Jericho, the wrestler. Outside of that, we have some questions, but the Jera Cruise was a really interesting piece of TV. I thought it was a great piece of business. I would love to see that brought back. It was just such a different atmosphere and seeing how the fans reacted and how it was shot. And I would really love a Jera Cruise Part 2 as an exotic location. Maybe we could like build it up even more or do it better because that was obviously pre-pandemic, right? So we're talking AEW 2019.
Yeah.
Imagine what they could do now with the roster with probably a deeper budget, etc. Give me that. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I was trying to think of other things because like WCW, the first Nitro was in the Mall of America.
Yeah.
Where is a place that would be commensurate to that? I guess something at Universal Studios, which I think they're already kind of there, but I don't really know where you could do it.
And there's nowhere in Arizona with water. I know we have a major water crisis. Nowhere in Arizona where we could. Lake Pleasant.
The Battle of the Bridge, do it on the London Bridge itself. That was moved here.
That might be an option.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. It's just there's got to be like an Oasis or Battle at the Mountaintop and have it inside of. There's got to be something like in Washington State that's similar in Vancouver. Outside of Vancouver, there is a Volcano National Park that you can go inside the crater, and like having it in there, like I don't know, some kind of gimmicky volcano match or some shit.
Gimmicky volcanoes.
Yeah,
don't we have
somebody
Quake,
gets thrown into it?
Don't we have Quake at the Lake in Minnesota?
Yes, but it's just simply by the lake. It's not. Right. Like have that shit out on a raft is what I want. Like
you want the full commitment from TK.
Don't call it Beach Break and go to Cleveland in the winter.
That's a really curious choice. I don't know if it's sort of like we all poke fun at how ridiculous that is, but Beach Break January, February in Cleveland. That's not accurate.
Swamp Smash, do it in Louisiana, somewhere in New Orleans, or like have some sort of jazz themed thing and
get Ed Orgeron on the show. I know he's no longer with LSU. Commentary.
Yeah.
Ideally. Absolutely.
Chris Jericho. Come on in the ring. Just can you imagine?
Okay, like I need that dude coaching again. I don't know what he's up to, but I need him coaching her in the booth.
Probably violating more rules. And people.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
And then we have, I know we're touching on a lot, and then USC and UCLA.
So is he, I think.
The USC and UCLA are leaving the Pac-12 in a year or two to go. Like,
I'm excited.
You must be. What does this mean for U of A? I'd even argue ASU. What is the future of the Pac-12? Are they just gonna go away? What is this? What are the implications of this?
I think they're going back to the Pac-10 is what they're doing. Because I don't
Oregon.
I don't know what happens. I feel like ASU and U of A would probably be better off if they join the Big Ten with the rest of them. I just like who's the big competition in there now. besides Oregon, Stanford. So
Yeah, and Stanford's been pretty down, I believe,
yes,
as of recent years. Andrew Luck is not quarterbacking anymore.
no, and then you have like Colorado and Utah, and
Yeah.
there's just
Yeah,
not a lot.
Utah's pretty
Utah's
solid.
yes, Utah's pretty solid, but I'm not taking I'm not going on the long game here with Utah basketball.
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I
their
mean?
most
So
famous player has been Kyle Kuzma. Brad, this was a jam-packed episode of GI. I had a blast, and man, we got another one in the books here. And tomorrow, you and I, our first event together live.
yes,
I am so stoked for this WWE house show.
Tyler, my first event.
Yes, it's a
Yes,
big deal.
yes.
Big deal. In the meantime, I hope you all will follow Brad on Twitter. He is at Winduster. I am at Tyler J. McDowell. We are at GI Pod 19. Brad wants to say something. Brad, I'm passing
Tyler,
it to you.
what's your follower count?
Oh
Did
man,
we
it
get you up?
is. It is, I believe, 95.
Woo!
Days.
Wow, make it a climb. Make it a climb.
Exponential growth. Even.
Thank you for the recent followers. I'm at 1,008 as of today.
God, how do you do this? What is your secret? Are they all bots?
Yes.
Have we confirmed that they are?
99% of them are
Okay,
named.
'cause I got
bunch of
real
numbers.
people. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Brad, I put out our plugs. I just want to also plug next week's episode. I think is going to be another great one. Not only will we reflect on our house show experience, but we have our Stranger Things recap. We have the return of a rose from me, my Bachelor preview. Great times here at GI. We are so grateful that you listened and or viewed this edition. Thank you for your support of us. If you're enjoying what we do, please tell a friend. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have ideas for segments, for guests, etc. And we certainly hope that you'll join us on the next one. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.